Короче, эту неделю нормально отпахали. Вот даже результат налицо. Тренера спросим. Да.
Честно?
Да.
Четверка.
Khabib criticizes Islam Makhachev for taking time off before his key fight with Arman Tsarukyan, questioning his preparation. Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan admits he made mistakes in his first fight with Islam Makhachev. He wasted energy trying to take Islam down, but couldn't get through his defense. Arman says he should have mixed his striking and wrestling better. Now, he feels like a different fighter and believes he's ready to beat Islam in a rematch.
But like, I already know how should I fight, so it's a couple of mistakes I did that fight. So
can I ask which ones? What are the mistakes?
yeah, I spent a lot of energy when I wanted to take him down, so I shouldn't, because he defended very well, and I should like mix striking with wrestling. So I should more strike that day than wrestle.
Michael Chandler is skeptical about Arman beating Islam. He thinks Islam is the best lightweight, with solid striking and grappling, proven by his recent wins. Chandler also points out that Islam's motivation goes beyond titles. He's fighting for his country, religion, legacy, and to honor Khabib and his father.
Forward, I think right now, I will be surprised if Arman pulls it off. I think Islam has continued to solidify himself as the best lightweight in the world by far with his performances. And I have no problem saying that. His hands are getting better. He just outstruck Poirier. He can outgrapple anybody.
James Lynch compares Islam and Arman for the rematch. Islam is 33, 5'10", with a 70.5 reach. Arman is 28, 5'7", with a 72.5 reach, so he has the reach advantage. Lynch recalls their first fight in 2019, where Arman stepped in on short notice and went the distance with Islam. Few fighters have done that, and this time, with more prep, Arman could have a better chance.
Hill and Yuri Prochazka on there as well. We'll talk about that fight in a second, but man, are they ever coming out guns a-blazing to start this year off? That card going to be taking place, like you see there, at the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. So really, really good card. Let's start first with the Islam and Arman rematch. Again, we all knew this was going to happen. Quick tail of the tape between these two. 33 years old for Islam. He is 5'10" with a 70.5 inch reach. Arman is 28 years old, 5'7" with a 72.5 inch reach. So Arman going to have the reach advantage. He's also younger, but Islam going to be a little bit taller. And if you remember, their first fight took place.
Austin Bashi believes Tsarukyan could expose weaknesses in Islam's game with more experience and preparation. He remembers how Arman, just 22, pushed Islam in their first fight on short notice. Bashi thinks Arman's growth could make a difference this time.
You know, I got Arman actually in that one. The first time they fought, Arman, I believe, was like only 22 years old, and gave him a real good run. But this time around, I think he could pull it out.
Paul Craig backs Makhachev, saying his grappling and wrestling are unmatched in MMA. He believes Islam's control on the ground will be too much for Tsarukyan to handle, and his grappling is the key to a win.
I don't think there's anybody going to dethrone these Dagestanis. I think their style is beautiful, and I do believe that it's going to go one way, and there's going to be the champ's going to stay the champ.
Brendan Schaub isn't sold on Makhachev's pound-for-pound ranking, arguing strength of schedule matters, but he still thinks Islam is the favorite due to his all-around skills.
Now, when it comes to pound for pound in your division, I look at strength of schedule. I look at who have you beat, how have you beat them. Islam's strength of schedule, when we're talking about, if you look at the pound for pound list, the top 5 has by far the easiest strength of schedule. He's not my pound for pound number 1. I'll be very clear. Not my king, not bend the knee, dude. Refute, cut my head off. Cut my head off. Not hating on Islam. I know you guys are gonna run with that. I'm not doing that. I'm not hating on him. There's nothing he can do about it. It's not his fault. He fights whoever's in front of him. But for his management, whoever's telling this, dude, let's jump to 7.
Brandon Gibson points to Islam's win over Dustin Poirier as proof of his growth and champion mentality. He believes Makhachev's grappling will be crucial in the rematch, and while Tsarukyan is talented, his experience may not match Islam's versatility.
I think Islam is rightfully the favorite. He's racking up that championship experience. In the bout with Poirier showed his championship character, like being able to really dig down deep in those later rounds, despite the cut, despite being wobbled. I think Islam's really growing as a champion, and I think we won't see such a close rematch between those two. I think Islam shows domination and showcases his grappling once again.
Jamal Hill talked about the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan, saying Tsarukyan has been looking strong and working hard, making it an interesting matchup. However, Hill believes Islam should be the favorite, calling Makhachev the pound-for-pound best fighter right now. He pointed out that Makhachev's performances have proven his abilities, so he supports Islam being favored in the fight.
I've seen Islam. He's been out here the last couple of days. He looks big. He looks strong. He's been working. But Arman's been putting together. I believe it's an interesting fight. It can go either way, you know, and I just can't wait to see it.
Islam's the favorite. Do you think he should be the favorite in the fight?
Yes, 100% he should be the favorite. He's a pound-for-pound best fighter in the world right now. And his performances have left not much room to doubt him, you know, so yeah, he should be the favorite, but at the end of the day, it's a fight.
During a recent camp for Islam Makhachev's rematch with Arman Tsarukyan at UFC 311, Khabib wasn't happy with Islam's performance, even though he'd put in the work. In a video shared online, Islam, looking banged up from sparring, asked Khabib what he thought. To his surprise, Khabib gave him a 4.5 rating. Islam was expecting more praise, but Khabib said his issue wasn't with effort, it was with his training schedule, especially the need for more rest.
Эту неделю нормально отпахали. Вот даже результат налицо. Тренера спросим.
Доволен ли я или нет?
Да.
Честно?
Да.
4.
When Makhachev asked if taking a break on Wednesday night was okay, Khabib's response was clear and to the point. He told Islam that rest should only come on Sunday and Saturday evenings. While some might see Khabib's approach as tough, it's part of a bigger plan to keep Makhachev focused and ready for what's ahead. Khabib has played a huge role in shaping Makhachev into the fighter he is today. And even with all of Makhachev's success, Khabib doesn't let him get too comfortable.
А что надо сделать, чтобы 5 получить?
Брат, в среду вечером отдохнули?
Да.
Ну,
Нельзя было?
нет, конечно. Отдыхаем в воскресенье и суббота вечер, и все.
Curtis Blades is confident Islam Makhachev will win, citing Islam's proven experience against tougher opponents. Blades believes Makhachev has faced and beaten more challenging fighters, which makes him the clear favorite. He adds that if Arman Tsarukyan wins, he'll need to prove Blades wrong, but ultimately, Blades sees Islam winning.
I'm gonna go with Islam. He's already shown he's got the fortitude. Not to say Arman hasn't, but I guess Islam, he's done it against harder guys. He's already shown me he can do it. So I guess Arman would have to prove me wrong. So yeah, I'll go with Islam.
Michael Chandler, UFC's number 6 lightweight, shared his thoughts on the match. When asked if Makhachev beats Tsarukyan, Chandler added, "I think Islam is a man possessed. I think Islam is bigger, stronger, and he's got more skills." Chandler said he also pointed out that Tsarukyan's win over Oliveira didn't change his view, adding, "I just don't think Arman has enough to beat Islam." Chandler also praised Makhachev's grappling, saying, "Islam has too much pressure. His wrestling is better, and he's improved a ton since he and Arman last fought." Fans are pumped for this fight, which could shake up the lightweight division. Terrence McKinney thinks Arman Tsarukyan has solid striking, but still believes Islam Makhachev will win. He feels Islam's size, height, and strength will give him the edge, especially in scrambles. Over 5 rounds, McKinney thinks Islam's physicality will be too much for Arman. He admits this could be Makhachev's toughest defense, but still expects Islam to show why he's the champ.
I like what Arman brings as threat on the feet, but I think Islam will, just because of his height, will be able to win most of the scrambles. I think he was a bigger person just in general, and I think 5 rounds dealing with a person with that much muscle, I think Islam shows why he's champ still, but this will probably be his toughest title fight.
Joaquin Buckley isn't sure who will win the rematch, saying no one has a clear advantage. He's curious to see what changes Arman Tsarukyan has made for the second fight. Despite this, Buckley sees Islam Makhachev as a dominant champ and would pick him to win. Still, he pointed out the unpredictability of the fight, especially with someone as hungry and determined as Tsarukyan, who's aiming to be a world champ himself.
I don't think anybody got anybody number, to be honest with you. So, you know, we'll see what Arman has changed up and what he would do different, you know, in this fight, in this the second one that's coming up. But you know, for me, I think Islam is just, you know, just a dominant champion right now. So I would just, you know, pick, you know, Islam just because. But you know, you never know. You know, especially when you got somebody that's hungry and determined to become a world champion themselves.
Eddie Alvarez thinks Islam Makhachev could lose his next fight, especially in a rematch. After beating Dustin Poirier at UFC 302, Makhachev said he wants a second belt and is eyeing a welterweight title fight. But UFC CEO Dana White mentioned that Makhachev's next fight is likely against Arman Tsarukyan, who earned a title shot. Alvarez pointed out that Tsarukyan, who lost to Makhachev in 2019, has improved a lot since then. He also believes Makhachev is easier to beat than Khabib Nurmagomedov. Islam is not Khabib. He doesn't fight like Khabib. Makhachev takes more chances and more risks and relies on finishing guys, whereas Khabib just knew you weren't going to be able to deal with him over time. Alvarez said on the MMA Hour, Islam's going to go for it and leave himself more vulnerable, but he's more susceptible to getting beat than Khabib was. Drawcar Close thinks Islam Makhachev's size and strength give him the edge to win the fight. However, Close hopes Arman Tsarukyan can pull off the upset as he enjoys seeing change at the top of the division. He'd like to see new names rise up and challenge the top fighters. Despite supporting Tsarukyan, Close acknowledges it'll be a tough challenge given Islam's dominance and skill.
Islam's a big guy. I think Islam was gonna win it, you know what I mean? But I hope Arman wins, you know what I mean? I like to see change in the top. You know, move those numbers around and, you know, get some guys out. So hopefully Arman pulls it off, but I think it's gonna be a tough.
Charles Oliveira thinks Arman has the power to knock Makhachev out, but doesn't believe it will happen. Oliveira added, he has heavy hands and hits hard, so he definitely can knock him out, but I think Islam remains as champion. Oliveira also talked about Arman Tsarukyan, saying his style won't be enough to beat Makhachev. Oliveira added, he is a guy that takes you down and holds you there the entire time. No way, it's not a fight he can win. Youssef Zalal is confident Islam Makhachev will win, but he sees Arman Tsarukyan as one of the toughest stylistic matchups for him. He talked about the comparison between Makhachev's win over Oliveira and Tsarukyan's performance against him, noting that while both are impressive, MMA is all about styles. Zalal pointed out that certain styles can be tough for even the best fighters. Despite this, Zalal believes Islam will win in the end.
I'm definitely gonna go with my boy Islam, but I have a thing. I think that's the toughest stylistically matchup for Islam. I do believe that. People saying, oh, he fought him on short notice, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you should see what Arman is doing. And they're comparing like, oh, look at what Islam did to Oliveira and then Arman to Oliveira. I was like, in this game, styles make matchups. It doesn't matter how good you are, but some styles are just not your kryptonite. So I think it's gonna be a really strong matchup, but I'm definitely going with my boy Islam.
Makhachev says Arman's improved and gained experience since their first fight, but his skills haven't changed much. He notes Arman's wins are mostly against opponents with weaker wrestling. Against someone like him with strong wrestling, Makhachev thinks Arman will still struggle in the rematch.
Of course he improved. He have more experience, but same skills, you know. He beat all this guy because they don't have wrestling. But when someone have good wrestling skills, he always have trouble with Gamrot, with me, and it's gonna be again. He have good wrestling skill, but if somebody defends, he have problem also.
Go back to that first fight in Russia. Right?
Arman Tsarukyan said when he joined the UFC, he was focused on making the top 15, not the belt. After his first win, his mindset shifted and he started aiming for the championship. When Makhachev won the title, Tsarukyan saw it as a chance for a rematch and a shot at the belt.
When I got UFC, I didn't think about the UFC belt and everything. I just wanted to get in top 15. But like after my first win, I wanted to be a champion and I started like thinking about championship, and when Islam got the belt, I said I want to fight with Islam for the belt. So it's a rematch and fight for the belt.
Tsarukyan said Islam Makhachev isn't as good as people think. He pointed out that many see Islam as unbeatable with great wrestling, but Tsarukyan reminded everyone he took Makhachev down when he was only 22.
He's not that good like people think.
Do you want to expand on that? Do you want to tell me what you mean by that?
No, I mean like people like think he's unbeatable and like crazy wrestler, but like I took him down when I was 22 years old. So.
Arman Tsarukyan said he doesn't care about being pound for pound #1 or gaining fame. His only goal is winning the title. He made it clear he's not driven by money, hype, or followers, just the belt.
About that, like if you go out and beat him, you expect to be #1 pound for pound the next day? Like, do you care about any of that?
No, I don't care about it. I just care about the title.
Yeah.
No money, nothing, no hype, no followers, just title. This is what I want to get, and yeah, this is not my goal.
Makhachev reflects on his first fight with Arman Tsarukyan, saying that Arman was tough and managed to defend his wrestling well, which gave Makhachev a hard time. Makhachev also mentions that he didn't know much about Arman before that fight, but now he's familiar with Arman's skills and feels more prepared for the rematch. He's confident that he will finish Arman this time.
You think back to that first fight, what can you point to that you think might have been surprising, right? What did he do in that fight to make it one of the tougher fights in your career?
Same things. I don't know his
I think he took you down.
He took me
like
down
3
yes.
times.
No, 1 time, man. No. Watch the fight. You never watch my fight.
I watch your fights all the time.
Okay, watch. 3 times, nobody, brother. Even you, Nick, you cannot take me down 3 times, brother.
Take me down 3 times. Many times.
No, it's not true.
Sean O'Malley commented on Arman's short notice fight with Islam, saying Arman did better than anyone else before Dustin. He questioned who else could challenge Islam. He also brought up Dana not ranking Islam as #1 pound for pound, asking how that makes sense and if John Jones is ranked instead. That wraps it up.
Yeah, Arman's so skilled, bro.
Oh yeah.
That'd be crazy if Arman's champ.
Arman's first fight in the UFC was fighting Islam short notice, and he fought him arguably better than anybody's fought him up until Dustin last night. So I would give it to who else? Yeah.
Let me know what you think in the comments. Who takes it, Islam or Arman? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.